So good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. As Vinnie said, it's been almost 2 years since we've had a physical event, so this is a great opportunity for us to meet people physically again. The industry's had a good run in the first half of the year. We've had growth, 65% growth in terms of the domestic market, 76% growth in terms of the export market, 25% growth in terms of aftermarket. But again, that's been the first half of the year. We've seen the commercial vehicle segment come back after a lot of pain because of structural changes in that industry, specifically with axle load norms, GST implementation, etc., capacity utilization. We still have several headwinds, as we're all aware, with regard to the chip shortage, which continues, globally, to create a lot of headwinds in the industry as a whole. We've seen fuel price increases, or expect fuel price increases, given the nature of what's going on, and is increasingly becoming more difficult with the crisis in between Ukraine and Russia, or the conflict. And really this depends on how long they'll last. Currently, neon gas comes from Ukraine. However, chip manufacturers have sufficient quantity of neon gas at this point in time. However, if this conflict continues, and I don't think any of us know what the geopolitical outcome of a conflict like this will be, will definitely cause some delays in coming back to where we want to be with regard to the chip shortages. And again, with regard to logistics costs, that's also increasing. Container shortages continue. However, the industry is extremely resilient. Demand is strong, which is definitely a positive for all of us, because we're seeing demand across the board pretty strong. Yes, the tractor industry is definitely seeing a flat growth this year, or no growth at all. However, it's highly cyclical, and it's had 2 years of great growth. The positive thing, as Vinnie pointed out, is the PLI scheme. 75 companies have been approved in the PLI scheme for auto components, of which 47 are ACMA members, and quite a few of them are joint venture partners outside of that 47 number. So, we're looking at a great opportunity for us to invest in future technologies. The industry is positioned very well to invest in what we're calling future technologies. This does not necessarily mean only electric vehicles, though we're seeing a big push towards electric vehicles globally. This also will encourage us to invest in technology so that we can look at deep localization, something that is need of the hour, given the geopolitical situation and the pain we saw during the pandemic. I feel that it's a great opportunity for us to manufacture more in India, given the government's push with Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, all these other schemes that have encouraging industry to continue to manufacture in India, create a global hub for manufacturing from India. This is again very encouraging from the government. They've also the FAME India 2 scheme, the PLI scheme for batteries. So all these schemes coming together, government wanting to put money into benefits to create what we call export champions, and again champions in terms of engineering and development, research and development. The entire Make in India scheme has also been positioned so that we can design in India too. So we're really looking at a very strong growth prospects for the future, given the fact that we will invest heavily in technology, given the fact that the industry is extremely disruptive. For drivers, when we look at what the industry disruption looks like, which is connectivity, autonomous, shared and electric, which we call CASE. We're moving more towards connectivity, more towards telematics, fields which are opening up brand new fields for component manufacturers to play in. Non-component players also in fact apply to the PLI scheme, because again there's a lot of opportunity to grow in that industry because of the disruption that the industry comes with. So, keeping up with global trends, we're seeing more electrification in vehicles. The low-hanging fruit is, of course, the two-wheeler industry, which will rapidly, move towards towards electrification, followed by passenger moving vehicles, etc., buses also, and then of course passenger cars. So that's really the way we see the industry. And again, we continuously feel that whilst government is investing heavily in infrastructure building, it's private sector's role to invest in technology, and that's really what's going to happen. If you look at the tier 1 segment of our industry, we started our lives with joint ventures, with license agreements. Very quickly we were able to adapt or adopt that technology. Some of us have exited joint ventures and continue to build on the technology that we learned from our partnerships. And the tier 2 and tier 3 supply chain is now going to have to invest in technology, whether it be through joint venture, license agreements, or or other methods of bringing again technology into the country. So that's really the quick update on the industry. When you look at the PLI schemes, whilst big companies have applied for it, the effect will trickle down even to the tier 2 and tier 3 supply chain. So it's definitely going to be a benefit. The government is very encouraging in that if we are able to meet the targets that we have been given, the government is willing to put more money into it. The minimum investment is 250 crores for a company. So if you look at just the minimum investment multiplied by 75 companies, you're looking at close to 18,000 to 19,000 crores of investment coming into the auto component industry. Of course, that will also bring a lot of jobs from it. So that's the brief and quick update.
Yeah, wonderful. So would you also like to, you alluded to a lot of challenges. Could you talk a little bit on the raw materials?
Yeah, so again, raw material, there's been some structural changes, and therefore steel has gone up, iron ore, coking coal prices have gone up, and steel continues to remain a challenge, and we look for customers' help. Several customers have steel as a pass-through, so it's definitely a help to us. However, if the price keeps increasing, it's definitely going to put stress on the tier 2 and tier 3 supply chain, so we really need to address that issue along with OEMs. Fortunately, we have OEMs which are very supportive because the supply chain is extremely complex. One supplier going, not able to supply can block the entire supply chain. So we're working together. I think one of the things that came out of the pandemic was bringing the industry together, bringing the industry in terms of ACMA and SIAM together as well. We're looking at local sourcing through a partnership with ACMA and SIAM. Just to add to the sourcing bit, there's also a lot of IPOs, which is International Purchase Offices, working with ACMA to see how they can source from India. Again, the China One Plus strategy, and how we can really leverage what's the opportunity that came in the middle of a great crisis.
Yeah, just to elaborate on the localization, we alluded to ACMA and SIAM. We worked on a joint study, and what we find is that in the overall ecosystem, the import of auto components is around $25 billion US, and as an industry, we envisage that in next about 5 more years, we should be able to localize at least 50 to 20% of this import. So there's a very significant opportunity there, and we believe now that the PLI is coming, the localization will be still faster. So what we are looking at achieving in 5 years, probably it could come forward by a year or two. Yeah, but again, it's a tall order, but we will definitely make our best effort. Yeah.
I think from a localization perspective, electronics is a big opportunity as well. As a country, we will import almost $250 billion in the next few years, and bringing industries together, automotive with electronics, these are opportunities that we can explore to see how we can localize so we get scale as well. So again, great opportunities in terms of localization will come about, and this is something that as an industry we can leverage.
Yeah. So we have 15 odd minutes before the next session starts, so please ask questions.
I'll start. You talked about the raw material prices and that it will start to have pressure on tier 2, tier 3. How much time do you have before you have to start having these conversations with OEMs and we'll see an impact on car prices or inflationary pressure?
So we're having conversations constantly. This is not a new problem that we're facing. This has been sort of continuing in terms of raw material prices. I'm not certain what will happen with the conflict you know, and where prices will go with that. And I don't know if I can answer that because I'm not qualified, you know, to answer what happens in terms of the economics of things, you know, and how long conflict lasts, etc. But these are issues that we're addressing, you know, continuously. So it's not something that we need to wait for. It's being addressed, and we're taking them up with OEMs. Companies individually are taking them up. Fortunately, this is, you know, steel so far has been a pass-through with most OEMs. So there's a great support from that aspect.